All right, Greg, the fact that this is a Category 5 storm is mind-blowing. I mean, I've seen heavy damage happen in South Florida during a Category 1. Given the size of this thing, are we expecting this to be potentially like another Hurricane Katrina?
Well, certainly the impacts associated with Ian over the next day and 3 days really will be catastrophic for some areas of central Florida. Landfall is imminent, I will say, near just east or just west of Fort Myers, Florida. I'm looking at the radar here right now, and the eye wall of the hurricane with winds perhaps as high as 120, gusting higher miles per hour is over those Outer Bank Islands now, just to the west of Fort Myers. So absolutely devastating impacts from this event. Sea levels will come up dramatically with the surge, expecting 8 to 12 foot above the mean level. Some areas, basically Cape Coral through Fort Myers, up through Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, are all going to be feeling dramatic and potentially catastrophic impacts from Hurricane Ian over the next 6 to 8 hours. Power will be widespread outages there. The rainfall amounts coming at about 3 to 5 inches an hour. Total amounts of rainfall upwards of a foot to maybe 2 feet in some localized locations will cause flooding of many rivers. The flood waters will not recede for days. So we're looking at a pretty nightmarish scenario with respect to a hurricane impact across Florida over the next couple of days.
Now, if you know, when was the last time South Florida has been hit by a major storm? And when was the last time it was hit by something this powerful?
So this hurricane has some similarities to what we saw with Hurricane Charlie, which was absolutely devastating across much of the same area, especially the Port Charlotte area when it came ashore. It was moving faster, so the winds were a real problem with that all across the middle part of the state. It wasn't quite as intense and it wasn't quite as large, so the impacts were focused in a corridor across central Florida with Hurricane Charlie. Hurricane Irma came up in a very similar track, and also created problems a little bit farther south down toward Naples, Marco Island area, where they had significant storm surge there. This track is not uncommon. It seems like just in the last few years they've dealt with this before, but not at this strength. This particular system is very strong and very large.
Yeah, that's why this is so alarming, because as we were saying earlier, there are parts of South Florida that now, because of rising sea levels, will experience flooding on a sunny day. Like, it doesn't even take rainfall anymore. So that a storm this powerful that could in some areas have a 12-foot or higher storm surge, that doesn't bode well for these communities that are, right up against the ocean.
It does not. And, right now, over the next few hours, the focus will be along the immediate Gulf Coast sections of Southwest Florida. However, we shouldn't let our guard down across the eastern coast of Florida. There, like you say, the normal conditions are sometimes for high tides to flood. I think there could be some storm surge impacts all along the east coast of Florida, and perhaps even as far north as the Carolinas in the days ahead.
Yeah, that warm water of the Gulf of Mexico, we like to call it hurricane fuel down there. Greg Carbin, thanks so much for joining us.